Nick in Arkansas, you're on the line. Yes, sir.
Jason,
yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Sorry about that. Listen, I just want to tell you, I just saw Invisible Empire. We got this DVD burners fired up. Great movie. For anybody who hasn't watched it or doesn't really know much about the New World Order, this is super crash course in the New World Order. And I'm really excited about what's going on. Rand Paul winning in Kentucky. That is so awesome.
It's awesome.
Blanche Lincoln seems to be doing a runoff here in Arkansas. I'm happy to report about that. Hopefully we can get her out. Do you know of any candidates in this area that are pro-gun, pro-libertarian, against the New World Order?
Not off the bat in Arkansas, but I will say this. We are having great victories. And with Arlen Specter out, Arlen Specter has been a staple of the Senate for decades right now. That is a huge victory. It shows the global awakening is also taking place, not just around the globe, but in this country. And all the subversion by Fox News trying to take over the Tea Party events isn't going to work. We're going to continue to put our people into office. And at these rallies, it would be great if people got a copy of Don't Tread on Me and Invisible Empire and made copies of those films and handed out hundreds and thousands of those films, because that's how we're going to get the information out. That's how we show what the quote-unquote New World Order is, how it is a push, an ideal for a global government. Who was talking about that global government today? Brzezinski. And of course, Brzezinski is featured in the film. Appreciate the call, Nick. Stephen in Florida. Stephen, you're on the line.
Yeah, hey, good afternoon, Jason. Hang on. Okay, there we go.
All right, what's on your mind, Stephen?
Hey, a couple things. First of all, Alex had Gary Franchi with Restore the Republic on a couple days ago and did a really good interview. And I get Gary's reality report. It's an email report he sends out. It's really good. And in the latest one, I wanted to ask you about this, see what you think. He was talking about the Arizona immigration bill, and he said after further looking into it, he's changed his position and believes, based on the wording in that bill, it's actually a backdoor for the federal government to come in and do what that bill calls for illegals, for anybody in the United States, just like the Patriot Act does with so-called terrorists.
Well, I got to tell you, Stephen, when it was first introduced to me and I didn't know much about it, I said that very same thing, that a lot of these laws look good on the surface, but they're a backdoor for global governance and federal control. So I'm going to have to take a look at it, but I don't know. As far as I know, the way it's being carried out right now, if they pull somebody over and they appear to be an illegal immigrant, I don't think it's a bad thing to check if they have a consular matricular card or they indeed are a citizen, and if not, they send them over the border. I think that is a good thing. Appreciate the call. Before I go to Jim in Illinois and Dalton in Georgia, I want to go back to that caller that was pro-communist for a moment. This is what happens with communism. This headline, China organ trafficking trial exposes grisly trade. And throughout this, they try to make it look, kind of sexy. And this guy who was trafficking organs, he's a good guy, actually. He never sold bad organs. And it tells you a Beijing court is prosecuting a man for illegal organ trafficking. Local media reported, putting the spotlight on a grisly black market in body parts in a country where the demand for transplants far outstrips supply. And he's a big hero, and he's being prosecuted by the government. But then at the end, they admit, where is the most organ harvesting coming from? Well, from prisons in China. However, the majority of organs from transplant are still where? Harvested from executed criminals, the paper said. Beijing hopes the new system will end both live transplants and taking organs from prisoners, which makes senior officials uncomfortable. And it only makes them uncomfortable when they have to talk about it, because otherwise they're making big profits on the black market. They should be on trial. Executed prisoners are definitely not a proper source for organ transplants, said the Vice Minister Hong Zhifo, telling the China Daily. Yeah, right, but you'll continue to do it. Let's go to Jim in Illinois. Jim, you're on the line.
Hi, thanks.
You got it.
I've heard recently here about the illegal immigration thing. I live in Chicago, and you guys, I don't know if you've had any calls from people from Chicago or not, but let me just tell you something. It's so bad here where I live that they'll intimidate you until you pretty much move out of the area. Unless you stand up and say, no, I'm not going to have any of that, I'm not going to be the victim, and I'm not going to be the criminal. And recently here, I was listening to two states policemen and an off-duty judge or off-duty cop, and a judge and a guy from the National Guard talking about you will be processed one way or another. One way, either as a victim, or another way, either is you standing up and saying, no, I won't have any more of this. I totally put my foot down. I'm not going to be the victim anymore. And in that case, when you stand up for your rights and say no, you're a criminal. And they laughed about it. And the thing was that they were all talking about how the state police and the Illinois National Guard here have been working in conjunction with Mayor Daley's office, and that I'm going to tell you this right now, and this is a prediction, and I hope you guys are recording this. Illinois is going to be the first police state in the United States. And how do I know that? Because the judge that was sitting at that bar, at that local establishment, it wasn't a bar, but it was like a drinking, dining establishment, he said that he sees this happening within the next 2.5 years, and probably even before that, within 8 months, was the other guy's, was his...
Jim, I appreciate the call, and we will definitely keep our eye on Illinois. Dalton in Georgia. Dalton, you're on the line. Let's go to Justin in Colorado. Justin, you're on the line.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Yes, I have a document. This is just following up on your that bus thing you were saying in Colorado.
Yes.
Yes, I got this. There's this notice I got from the school district for my sister. It's saying that every student district in Colorado is required to report to the Colorado Department of Education each year. The federal government recently changed the reporting categories for student data to more accurately reflect the diversity of the country's present population. Under the new system, you will now be asked to indicate both the ethnicity and the racial categories for your children. On this data sheet, it has a couple. There's a new question. I've never seen this on any kind of ethnic question. It's this number one, ethnicity. Are you Hispanic or Latino? Yes or no? And if you're not, indicate which ethnicity you are. Which I'm thinking now is that they want to...
They want to profile everybody. They want to profile areas, man. They want to charge you for it. They want to track, trace, and database you. Once you're in the database, that's when the massive profiling begins. They'll have individual profiles, community profiles, they'll have county profiles, and of course, statewide profiles. And they'll use this profiling information to divide and conquer. That's the idea. While they tax you for it. While they tax you for it, they are going to divide and conquer with your information while they enslave your children before your very eyes. It's the Alex Jones Show. Final segment coming in. I am Jason Burma sitting in, Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.tv.